Hey, what's going on, guys? This is George from Team Stackers, and today I'm here to bring you my updated version of my Harpie Speedroid deck profile for the next format. And also, some of the updates I've made are for consistency issues that I had with the previous build. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get started. So starting with the main deck, the main deck's still 40 cards. This is a deck I really love. I've been playing it for the last couple of weeks, and I've topped at every single locals that I've gone to. It still needs a little bit more work, and that's what I've been working on lately. So I hope you guys like it. So to start off with the monsters, I played 3 copies of Harpie Channeler, and this is the best Harpie in the deck, and this is the only Harpie I wouldn't cut down from. You ditch a Harpie and special summon one from the deck. Simple as that. For the other Harpie monsters, I played 2 copies of Harpie Dancer, easily the next best Harpie. She can bounce any wind monster that's on the field back to your hand, and then normal summon another wind monster from your hand. So it works well in tandem with Divine Wind of Mist Valley, so that's why I have her in the deck. And for the last 2 Harpie monsters, I run Harpie Harpist. And I cut her down from 3 because I only have 5 targets to search, and for the most part I will draw one of them at least, so I will only have 4 targets to search for. So Harpie Harpist, I cut it down to 2, and so far I've been liking it at this amount. I don't need any more or less, and these are all the Harpies I run. I only run 7. This build requires a little more resource management, but it's overall more consistent than my previous build. So that's it for the Harpies. 7 Harpies in total. Very good monsters. For the Speedroid component, I'm running 1 copy of Speedroid Double Yo-Yo and 1 copy of Tri-Eyed Dice. I run the dice because it's a level 3 tuner and it's a Necrogardna in the graveyard, and the Double Yo-Yo because whenever it's normal summon, you can special summon the level 3 or lower Speedroid from the graveyard. Very good top deck. Next, I run 2 copies of Red-Eyed Dice. This is the level 1 tuner I used in the deck, and not only that, when it's normal or special summon, you can change any Speedroid monster you control from level 1 to 6. So very, very good. Next, I run 3 copies of Speedroid Take Tomborg. He is easily the 2nd best Speedroid out of all the Speedroid monsters. Special summon when you control a wind monster, tribute it to summon a tuner from the deck. It's a very, very good card. And for the last Speedroid monster, and probably the best one, is 3 copies of Speedroid Terratop. It is easily the best Speedroid in the deck, and probably the whole archetype. You can special summon it from your hand and add a Speedroid from your deck. That's ridiculous in itself. Just with him, you have if you have just him in your hand, you already have a synchro play. So that's why he is very good. And that is it for the Speedroid monsters. I only run 10. And for the last of the monsters, 1 copy of Mathematician. Mathematician's in here mainly to send Harpist to the graveyard to search for a Harpie or any Speedroid monster that I want to be able to use it with speed recovery. It added more consistency to the deck, and whenever it dies in battle, it can allow you to draw a card. So very, very good. And his addition has actually made the deck a lot more consistent. He's my, you would say, 2nd Foolish Burial. Next are my spells. I run 1 copy of Terraforming. To search out my 3 copies of field spells, I run 1 copy of Harpie's Hunting Ground to pop back row, 1 Divine Wind of Mist Valley for use with Harpie Dancer and special summon level 4 or lower wind monsters from the deck, and Chicken Game for draw power and consistency. Chicken Game, it makes for so many great games. I love the card. It makes the game fun. So that is it for the field spells. For the rest of my spells, I run 1 copy of Limiter Removal. This card in tandem with Chambara can win you games straight up. You summon Chambara, and if your opponent has no protection or any monsters on the field, you can attack twice, Limiter Removal it, and that's for 8,600 damage you can do to your opponent directly. So it's a very good card. And then when it destroys the monster in the end phase, but if Chambara gets destroyed, it gets a banished monster from the banished zone back to your hand. Any Speedrun monster, so that's good. Next is a copy of Foolish Burial. Send any monster to the grave. that I need. 1 copy of Instant Fusion, Summon Norden. 2 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. The next format is going to be heavily dominated by pendulums and a lot of decks that use a lot of back rows, so why not use main 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. Next is 2 copies of Shock Surprise. This is a card that I've been testing out and it's worked out pretty good so far, so I'm going to keep using it. What it does, it's you can banish up to 2 Speedroids and target an equal number of cards on the field and destroy them, so very, very good card. And for the last of the spells, 3 Speed Recoveries. Speed Recovery is the monster reborn for Speedroids. And it's a monster reborn not only for the Speedroid monsters in the deck, but also for the hi-speedroid synchros. So it's a very good card. And then when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it and recover any of your Speedroids and add them to your hand. Now for the traps, I run 1 copy of Vanities and 1 copy of Torrential. I run these 2. This one for total clearing the board, and this one to stop special summons. But these might see a spot in my side deck, so I can main deck Storming Mirror Forces. So I'll let you guys know if I actually do update that. Next is 1 copy of Time Space Trap Hole. This is good against pendulums, as you can pay 1,000 life points for each monster that is summoned from the hand or the extra deck and send them back to the deck. So it's a very, very good card. Sometimes you have to pay a hefty cost, but that hefty cost comes with pluses since they don't go back to the extra deck, the pendulum monster. So it's very, very good. Next is 1 copy of Solemn Warning. Negate any summon, including pendulum summons, which will send all their monsters back into the graveyard. Then 2 copies of Breakthrough Skill, because it's Breakthrough Skill and it negates effects of monsters. And not only that, when Cyber Dragon Infinity comes out, you're going to want this card in your main deck. And for the last 2 cards, Call the Haunted. I'm playing this card because I can reborn so many monsters in this deck. I can bring back my synchros. I can bring back anything I need. And it's just a very good card. I absolutely love it. And that is it for the main deck. It's a total of 40 cards. So, and I absolutely love the deck right now. So moving on to the extra deck. I do run a 15 card extra deck, and I haven't made many changes to it, but I will show you what I have right now anyways. So for the Xyz monsters, 2 copies of Lightning Chidori. You're running a win deck, so why not run Chidori? Next is 1 copy of Castel. It's Castel. You have to run him. He's probably never going to get cut from my decks. Next is 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. I almost cut it, but I remembered that Cosmos, if they have the ships on board and you clear the board, you're going to want this on the field so you can negate their effects in the graveyard. Next is 1 copy of Ice Beast Zerifying. This card is very good against pendulum decks. You can detach, negate the effects of all face-up cards on your opponent controls, and also it gains attack for every single face-up card on the field times 300. So very good. For the final Xyz monster, 1 Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosac. I can make it with Channeler and Clearwing, and since I have Call the Haunted, I can reborn the Clearwing with Call the Haunted. So very, very good. For the synchros, the level 5s, 2 Chambaras. It can attack twice, gains 200 attack during the beginning of each damage step, and when it gets destroyed or sent to the graveyard, you can bring back any of your banished Speedroids back to your hand. For the 2 level 6, I run hi-speedroid Kendama and Red Wyvern. Red Wyvern can destroy any monster your opponent controls that has higher attack than itself, and once while this card's face up on the field, and then Kendama can banish a Speedroid or any machine type monster and burn your opponent for 500 damage, and it can inflict piercing damage. So it's very, very good. Next, for the level 7s, Clearwing Synchro Dragon. This card is pretty good. People hate it when I summon this card. I do not know why, but the funniest part is when people say they hate a card, they read it, and then they do whatever the card says it negates. So they try to Castel it. So I had an opponent, he summons Castel, he takes the card, he reads it, and then he uses Castel, targets him, and then I negate it and destroy it, and then he gets mad. I don't understand what's wrong. If he's illiterate, that's not my fault. So, people just hate this card in general. And then I play one copy of Trishula because it's Trishula. You banish one card from their field, hand, and graveyard, and sometimes they can't recover from that and they'll just scoop. So, an excellent card. And you can make this very easily with the Speedroids. For the last two monsters, I play one copy of Hastor and one copy of Norden. Norden because, you know, you can go into Xyz plays really easily. And Hastor because whenever it gets removed from the monster zone to the graveyard, you can use it as, attach it to the, equip it to the monster, and it becomes any monster that your opponent controls, and it becomes a Phoenix chain essentially because they can't attack and it negates its effects. And then when this card gets destroyed while attached to a monster, you can take control of that monster. So it's very, very good. And that's why I have it in here. And not only that, because it's a win too. So that is it for the extra deck. So it's a total of 15 cards, and I absolutely love the deck. It's, so far the extra deck it's plenty good. For the level 6s, I might cut one of them out just for Goyo Guardian, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with the way it is at the moment. So so that is it, guys. Let me know if you have any suggestions for this deck. I have been working on it for a while now, and so far I love it. But if you guys have any suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you like the deck profile, or if you just like the video in general, give it a thumbs up. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night, wherever you're at. Team Stackers out.